Hello and welcome to today's update. You're looking at an hourly chart of QQQ. You can see that QQQ has been consolidating for the last couple of days around 314. This is ahead of Fed Chairman Powell speaking on Friday. Market doesn't want to make a big bet ahead of what he says. So that's why we see a tight consolidation. Near-term support is around 314 and then additional support is around 28. I mean, from the setup, there is a chance that we might go higher because it has come down from 335 to 314. Many of the technical indicators, RSI, MACD, on a smaller time frame is still in oversold condition, and we can see that RSI is slowly moving higher. MACD is also started to move higher. This is on a 1 hour basis. So there is a possibility that the market might rally as long as Fed Chairman Powell doesn't say anything which rattles the market. There is a possibility that the market might rally, but in the event that this level is breached, then the 308 comes into play. Let's look at the daily chart just to see what that looks like. So this is the daily chart of QQQ. You can see that it's still trapped between the daily 20 and 50 EMAs. Again, this is just consolidation ahead of Chairman Powell. We might get a reaction either to the upside or downside, but at the moment odds favor upside only because this decline has pushed stochastic now in oversold territory. The RSI is around 50, although MACD is crossed, but it's still above the zero line. So but even though the odds favor a move to the upside, there is always a possibility that Fed Chairman might say something and the market may react negatively. If the 50 EMA is breached, then the technical picture would start to look negative. But at the moment, it is still fine. It's just waiting and consolidating ahead of Fed Chairman Powell's speech. If we look at the SPY, you'll see something similar. So this is an hourly chart first. Again, you see it's coiling, consolidating just above this support around 410. Resistance is around 417. So not much has changed from yesterday. If we look at the daily chart of SPY, you'll see that again it's also trapped between the daily 20 and 50. So it touched the daily 20 the last couple of today and yesterday. Overall, the technical picture is still fine. RSI is now at the 50 level. Stochastic is now approaching the oversold level. So on a daily time frame, it looks fine. We'll see what happens on Friday. I think that's when market will make a decision whether it wants to go up or go down. But based on the fact that it has pulled back and stochastic and other indicators have pulled back from overbought territory, odds favor a move to the upside. Not necessarily to 200-day moving average, but at least above this daily 20 moving average. If we look at dollar next, let's look at US dollar quickly. So we'll first start off with a 2 hour chart of US dollar. So this is DXY. We had this uptrend line and then it's now started to consolidate and it's now making a lower high. So there's this wedge being formed. So we'll see which way it breaks, whether to the upside or to the downside. Again, we might get some reaction on Friday. If we look at the daily chart of DXY, so that still is looking quite bullish. The moving averages are moving higher, the 20 and 50. MACD is moving higher. RSI is above the 50 level, but it is overbought. stochastic indicator is now in the overbought territory. So there is a possibility that we could see some pullback. But since the moving averages are still trending higher, unless and until it closes below the moving averages, the daily picture will still look bullish. But some of the momentum indicators are beginning to make lower high, so that's worth noting. Moving on to the 10-year yield. So we'll look at the daily chart of 10-year yield. That is continuing to rise, and then it has now taken out this level, which is around 305. So it closed at 310, up almost 6 ticks. So this is continuing to move higher, and the two moving averages are now beginning to move up. MACD is crossing the zero line. RSI is still moving higher. So there's quite a bit of momentum in this rally. But again, we'll see what happens to it on Friday, whether the yields continue to rise after Fed Chairman Powell speak, or whether we see a reversal. But at the moment, it's looking quite strong. If we look at oil quickly, just to see what's going on with oil. So we look at the daily chart. Right, so we talked about the fact that it was showing bullish setups yesterday, and we talked about this 95 level. So it just closed just above this level. You see there's a double bottom being formed. So if it's able to take out this level, so we will have like a double bottom scenario. And then this level comes into play, which is around 104. You can see that RSI started to move higher. It's now gone above the previous high. MACD is now heading towards the zero line, even though it's still below the zero line, but it started to move higher. So this is now looking positive. So if it can get through here, it can reach this level. Now, just to show how momentum comes into play, if we look at the if we look at a shorter time picture of oil today, you'll see something interesting. So here we have this is the 1 hour 2 hour chart. There was a big drop here during the daytime. There was some news related to Iran, but because the momentum is strong, it was able to recover. So the daily chart now looks quite is looking good. If it gets through 95, there could be a little bit more to the upside, and that's one of the reasons why energy sector XLE is doing very well. If we quickly look at XLE, you'll see so you see the XLE has been moving higher. It's now made a new swing high. The momentum indicators are strong. MACD it's crossed the zero line. It's moving higher. RSI is also, it's approaching an oversold level. Stochastic is also oversold, but looks like investors are getting back into the energy stocks again. We'll look at VIX next. So let's look at the daily chart of VIX and see what that looks like. We'll see it here. So yesterday we talked about this level 24, which is the resistance level, and today it pulled back, and at least for now this level is providing some resistance. If it's able to get through this level, then 27.5 comes into play. Again, we may see a reaction on Friday if the market, if the reaction is positive in the market overall, then we could see a further pullback in VIX. But if market reacts negatively because Fed Powell says something that market doesn't like, then it could very well push through this 24 level. So, but the momentum indicators are still MACD is below the zero line. So as long as it stays below the zero line, any rally would be short-lived. RSI, although moved above 50, it's now coming back. Stochastic is in overbought territory. So we'll see what happens on Friday, but at least at the moment there is a rejection at the 24 level. That's all for today. Thank you for watching the video.